Good morning, everybody. As we go into the chitas of the day, we start the portion of Pashas Pekudei, the last portion in the book of Shemos, and we're holding on chapter 38, verse number 21. Eila Pekudei HaMishkan. This is the number of the Mishkan. This is accounting. The Moshe Rabbeinu makes an accounting of everything that was done, was brought and collected. Hashapakad Alpi Moshe, which was counted according to Moshe's command, Avedis Leviim, which was the service of the Leviim, Yad Isamar ben Aaron HaKohen, in the hand of Isamar, who was the son of Aaron the Kohen. Rashi says, because this parsha, all the weights of the donations for the Mishkan were counted. The silver, the gold, the copper, and all its implements for its works were counted. HaMishkan Shnei Pamim. Why does it say Mishkan and Mishkan in the verse twice? Ramel Mikdash. This also alludes to the temple, which was taken as security, as a mashkin, by two destructions. As for the Jewish people's sins, the temple is taken as collateral for Jews' sins. So Mishkan, Rashi says the word Mishkan, which is usually word as tabernacle, can also be used in Hebrew as word mashkin, which is a collateral. That God took a collateral. That means he did not, in essence, did not destroy for the sake of destruction of the first and second temple, but he took it as a collateral until Mashiach comes, and we're gonna get back our collateral, get back the tabernacle. Mishkan Eidus. So this Mishkan was called Mishkan of testimony. What's the testimony? It was a testimony for Israel that the Holy One, blessed be He, forgave them for the incident of the calf. For He caused the Shekhinah to rest among them. So Mishkan also has the same word as Shekhinah, which means the presence of God. Mishkan means to rest. So that's a testimony that God rests within the Jewish people and forgives them for their sins. Avedis Leviim, the numbers of counting the Mishkan and the furnishing, which was the work given over to the Leviim in the desert, to carry, to dismantle, to set up, each person on his burden on which he's assigned, which is later in the book of Numbers in Parshas Nosei. Biyad Isamar was a Kohen, so he was the manager, and he made sure that the Leviim, each one, did their job. He was appointed over the Levites to deliver each, because they were divided in their families, and he gave them each the job. Verse 22, Betzalel ben Uri ben Chur, and Betzalel, the son of Uri, the son of Chur, Lamata Yehuda from the tribe of Judah, Asas kol asher tziva Hashem es Moshe, did whatever God commanded Moshe. Rashi says, it's an interesting word that we throw in the middle, asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. Why is it written Asher Tziva Hashem es Moshe? The Moses that commanded him is not written, but it's written that the Lord has commanded Moshe, meaning that even the things that he, the master Moshe, had not said to him, Betzalel was coincided with what was said to Moshe. So Moshe Betzalel, in essence, was a very smart young man, and he understood what God wanted really. Because this is the famous debate that Moshe Rabbeinu and Betzalel had. For Moshe commanded Betzalel to first make the furnishings, and after make the Beis Hamikdash. The Medrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu said to Betzalel, God said, if you look in the Torah in Parshas Truma, you'll see that God commands the building of the utensils, and then he comes to the building of the Mishkan itself. But Since the contrary to Holy One blessed be He commanded opposite of Parshas Teruma. First, God commanded to make the furnishings, the tables, the menorah, the curtains, and afterwards He gave the command to make the Mishkan. The command of our teacher Moshe, may rest in peace, at the beginning of Vayakel, lists first the Mishkan, its tent, and afterwards the furnishing. Rather, Rashi is referring to command of the workers and what order should work. Find in Parashat Kisisa where God commanded concerning the order of the Mishkan construction. See, I've called the name of Betzalel. The first, the tenth of meaning is mentioned after the furnishing. So Betzalel changed the order. Betzalel said, I know maybe you commanded in that kind of order, but it doesn't mean that's the way it needs to be built. Because it doesn't make sense to make the furnishing and then make the building. First, you need to make the building. And that's why it's called on his name. So I see that I called the name of Betzalel. That first, the tenth of meaning is mentioned, and afterwards the furnishing. As far as the command in Teruma to donate, to appear what has been required for the Mishkan and furnishing, what difference does it make who donates first? Thus, the order of furnishing is listed there is irrelevant. So see, if you ask, how do we know that our teacher Moshe, may he rest in peace, commanded Betzalel to do opposite of what God had commanded him, since it's not found in the text that Moshe commanded Betzalel to construct first the furnishing and then the mission. We reply, that's written in Parashat Vayakel. And he, Moses, called Betzalel and Eliab. There the Torah very briefly is explained what Moshe said to them. From this verse, which is worded, and all that the Lord commanded Moshe, we see that he, Moshe, commanded them the opposite manner. Therefore, the text here does not state Moshe had commanded it. Study this well. Betzalel responded, it is common in practice to first make a house and then put the furniture in it. He said to him, that is what I heard from the mouth of the Holy One, blessed be He. Moshe said to Betzalel, you were in the shadow of God. Betzel Kel, which is meaning of Betzalel's name. You are right. For surely the Holy One, blessed be He, commanded me. And so He did. So that's the famous Medrash that was a Sikha we learned last week, which the Rebbe explains the meaning of this disagreement between Betzalel and Moshe, and ultimately Moshe agreeing to Betzalel that you need to first build the Mishkan and then the Aron, which is what Betzalel did. So verse 23, done. With him was Eliab, the son of Achisamach, the tribe of Dan. And the craftsmen of master weavery and embroidery in blue, purple, and crimson wool and linen. All the gold that has been used for the work of the holy, the gold, and the gold of the waving was 29 talents. 730 shekel. And 730 shekel according to the holy shekel. 60 manna. The manna of the holy was double of normal manna. Hence, a talent mentioned here is equal to 120 ordinary manas, twice the normal talent. And the manna of 20 sellers. Thus, the talent of the holy is 3,000 shekel. Therefore, the text counts the detail of the shekel were less than 3,000, since they did not amount to a talent, and thus they had numerated separately. Let's go to look up exactly how much is a talent. I think we mentioned before how much was a talent. So this was 60 talents. I think we mentioned how much is a talent of the menorah, if I can look it up right now. But this was a lot of gold. If you remember, if anybody remembers how much was a talent to the menorah, you can figure out 60. The Kesef Gudei Eda and the silver of the community numbered 100 talents. V'elav Shames and 100 talents and 1,775 shekel. The shekel HaKodesh according to the holy shekel. Bekel HaGelos, 1 beka per head. machzis a shekel, half a shekel. The silver was totally given from the machzis shekel, which we read this Shabbos. Whoever was 20 years and above, l'sheish meis elav v'shleish alafim, to the 603,550, half a shekel. So as you divide that, take each one of those and divide it and then put it together, you have 300,000 shekel. Becca, they split this in the name of the weight of the half a shekel. The sheish meis elav, this is how many Israelite, the Jews they were. The number equals this two after the Mishkan was erected, as appears in the book of Numbers. Now too they were donated to the Mishkan. This is how many they were. The number of a half shekel of 600,000 people equals 100 talents. Each one equals a 3,000 shekel. How so? 600,000 halves of shekel equals 300,000 holes, which equals 100 talents. Additional 300,000, 350 equals 1,775 shekels. So that's why it's 100 talents of silver plus 1,775 shekels equals the 603,550 Jews. Or better, the six divided together, each one gave a half a shekel. So together they come up to that number. Verse 27, and 100 talents of silver were used for casting of the sockets. It's exactly what they used that silver for. And the sockets of dividing curtains. 100 sockets of 100 talents. 1 talent for each socket. So that's how you figure out the 100 talents. There were 100 sockets. Each socket had a talent, so 100 sockets, 100 talents. Second, the sockets of the planks of the Mishkan, each one 48 planks, which is 96 sockets. In addition to the 4 sockets dividing curtain, equals 100 were all silver. But the rest of the sockets were made out of copper. So that's how you had 100 sockets. Now we're left up with 1,775 shekel of silver. The verse says 28. And out of the 1,775 shekel of silver, he made the hooks, which were made out of silver, for the pillars, and he covered the tops and banded them. So the tops, the pillar with them, with the remaining shekel. Concerning all of them, it's written, and he covered the tops of the planks with silver. And the copper of waving, Shivim kikar with 70 talents, shekel and 2,400 shekel. He made from this copper, he made the sockets of the entrance to the tent of meeting. In the copper altar. The copper grating. And all the vessels of the Mizbeach, the outside altar, were made copper. And the sockets of the courtyard. And the sockets of the outside, the gate of the courtyard. And all the pegs of the Mishkan. And all of them were made out of copper. That's exactly what he used. Everything that came in was counted, and it was given out exactly what was needed. Chapter 39, verse number 1. And out of the blue, purple, and crimson robe, also big the asrad, they made the meshwork garments to serve for the holy. That was to cover all the vessels. Vayasu was big the akodesh, and also the garments that were made for Aaron, for the Aaron HaKohen, who wore garments made out of blue and purple wool, and crimson wool, because the regular Kohen wore only garments that were made out of linen. As God. So now she says, since the linen is not mentioned here, I conclude that these bigid asad is not the garments of Kohuna. For all Kohanim garments were linen. Instead, I believe that they were the garments in which the Kohanim covered the holy furnishings. At the time they withdraw these furnishings to make on their journey the garments which was no linen. So that was the garments that was specifically made for either the garments of the temple vessels or the Kohen Gadol, which was made out of these kinds of wool, crimson wool, purple, and blue wool. And that completes the Chumash for today. We are still in the middle of chapter 32 of Tanya. Not a very long chapter. It's divided into many parts. And this is the Lev of Tanya, the chapter of the heart of Tanya. And it expresses our love to one another. And the Alter Rebbe expresses the meaning of true love of one another is that we love each other because we are truly one, because our souls are intermingled. So since every Jew has a divine soul, and since the commandment to love your fellow is based on the essential unity of the soul, it follows that this commandment applies to every Jew without exception. In fact, however, we find in the Talmud exhorting us to hate a certain fellow Jew. How do we reconcile these apparent contradictory requirements? So that we find in the Talmud, we find expression in the Talmud. People use these expressions very frequently. The Alter Rebbe answers it. Masha Kosev Gemara. That we find in the Gemara. Shemi Sheroi B'Chaveira Shechata. The Gemara says openly that if somebody sees his friend is sinning, mitzvah l'sanayse. It's a mitzvah, it's a commandment that you should hate him. You should also tell his teacher, l'sanayse, to hate him. So now the Rebbe says, this contradiction of everything I just said. I said you have to love everybody. And here the Gemara says openly, if you see a Jew sinning, you have to hate him. So the Alter Rebbe says, listen to the wording of the Gemara. I'm not arguing with the Gemara. The Gemara is not arguing with me. First of all, the Gemara is talking about two equals. If you have two chavera, if you have two equal people in the same level of religiosity, in the same level of learning, and your friend, who is your friend in learning, you're on the same level, and he is somebody who's equal to you, and he's sinning. Now you have a struggle situation. The sinner in question is Torah observant scholar, but has lapsed in one instance. In this case, his sin is much more severe than usual, since it's written that even an inadvertent misdeed of a scholar are as grave as a deliberate sin. We're talking about a scholar, chavera. But even this general assumption of the gravity of the conduct is not sufficient to cause to hate him. Because the Alter Rebbe says, even if you have a person that is like your level in Torah learning, and your level, a scholar like you, and he sins, you have to have prerequisite to come ultimately hate him. And and what's the prerequisite? The question is, have you sat down with him? And have you rebuked him? The verse says, you should repeatedly rebuke your friend. Now the word amisecha, the Alter Rebbe is emphasizing the word amisecha. Amisecha, your friend. Why does he call it in the verse? The verse says, you shall rebuke your friend. Why does the Torah use the word amisecha? So the word amisecha is divided, the Gemara says, in two words. Im she'itach, he who is par with you. Amisecha doesn't mean somebody who is not as like you. Somebody that's like you. You are to rebuke a person, not somebody who is not learned as you, somebody who is not brought up as you, somebody who does not have your same situation like you. No, you need to rebuke somebody who's on the same level as you. It doesn't say another person. A person. Amisecha. Am itach. You are like him. And you rebuked such a person. And you sat down with him and explained to him, how is it possible? You're a Torah scholar. We are both learned individuals. We have both the same situation in life. We've both been brought up in the same reality. How is it possible that you should do such a thing? Well, nevertheless, and then the person says to me, my friend, who is equal to me on all levels, says to me, I don't care. I'm deciding to go and do something negative, and he's not repented. That's a person that you need to be careful from. That's a person that maybe, and the Alter Rebbe is going to continue. He stops over here, the Tanya. So, but it completes the day of the Tanya. But that's a person maybe you need obligated to rebuke. That's the person ultimately, and we'll soon see, because what you have to hate. We'll soon see what means even then you should hate. But then maybe such a person or such a concept should be hated. And that completes the Tanya of the day. As he writes to explain, at this point, there's no need to exaggerate the gravity of a sin. It's clearly deliberate transgression. We're dealing with a person that is knowledgeable, at least like the person the person who's doing the rebuking, and therefore we're talking about a whole different reality. That completes the Tanya of the day, my friends. Today is the 26th day of the month, which is the second part of chapter 119 in Tehillim. Yesterday we did the first half from the letter Aleph to the letter Mem. Today we do the letter Mem to the letter Taf, and that will complete the Tehillim of the day. If you do that, you would have done the Chitas of the day. And I want to wish you all a wonderful day. We'll see you, Mircham, tomorrow as we'll continue the Chitas of the day. And I invite you all at 10 o'clock. We're going to continue the Gateway of Trust, according to the teachings of Chassidus, at 10 a.m., either at Chabad or on Zoom or on Facebook Torah Direct. Have a wonderful and beautiful day. Shavua Tov to everybody. May it be peace in the world. May Jews be protected through our learning of Torah throughout the entire world.